Hey everyone, welcome to the Prime and Glow podcast. If you're listening to this podcast, this is actually episode 1. I'm Kamila Sanders.
Hey, and I'm Lori Gunner.
And we are bringing this new podcast to you just to have a conversation about modern life, the workplace, and all of the things that we love as women. So definitely there will be some discussion around health, wellness, beauty, just anything related to how to live your best life. So since this is our first episode, we thought we'd give just a brief introduction of ourselves. So Lori, let's start with you. You're a lawyer.
Yes, I'm a lawyer. I basically do commercial litigation, do a couple of other things. But yeah, I'm a busy lawyer. What about you, Kamila?
Yeah, so I'm not as cool as a lawyer, but I work in finance. So it's never boring and it's very fast paced. But enough with that because we're filming here on a Friday night. So we made it through another week.
Yay! It's Friday.
Barely, but we made it.
And that's okay because we're going to go drinking after this.
Right.
So
there will definitely, that's necessary at some point on the weekend. Something to celebrate. So we thought it'd be fun to start our episodes with something that we're loving and something that we're not loving for the week. So Lori, let's start with you. What is something that you are loving?
Okay, so I actually just ordered this Shiseido Full Lash Serum. I got it from Sephora when they had the 20% off sale, and basically what this is it kind of looks like a lip gloss wand, and what you do is you just put it along your eyelash line and your eyebrows too. It also makes your eyebrows thicker, I think, or it helps you fill in hair. Yeah. And so I was skeptical at first because, and I don't know if you want to see it, but I was skeptical because I think it was only like $35 or something like that. And all these other eyelash serums like Latisse, which I guess that one might be prescription, they're hundreds of dollars. And this one was only like $35 or $40, something like that. And I've been using it, and I've been using it for about a week, and already my eyelashes are way longer. I don't know if you can tell, but somebody actually asked me the other day, I didn't even tell them I was using this. And they said, do you have fake eyelashes on? And I was like, no, but I'm glad you said that because it means this stuff is working.
Wait, so when do you put it on? Do you put it on at night?
Yeah, you put it on at night and in the morning.
Okay,
and
so 2 times a day.
2 seconds, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the way I got into it was I was at the nail salon, and somebody there, she had like the longest eyelashes, and they looked really good. And I asked her if they were fake eyelashes, and she said they were extensions. But I've heard from a lot of people that with extensions, they fall out in little clumps. And so if you don't immediately go back and get it put back in, they start, it just looks really patchy. Yeah. And it looks weird. Yeah. And they're also, I think, a couple $100, and so it's
a time commitment.
It is, yeah.
And like especially when you're a working woman, like you have to be protective of your time. So if this is something that you can just put on 2 times a day and still get amazing results, I mean, I need to buy this.
No, you do. And honestly, like I only bought it because the reviews were so good. Almost everyone. I mean, there were a couple people here and there who said it didn't work for them, but almost everyone said that it worked. Wow. So I would totally recommend it.
I'm obsessed. Where did you find this?
Sephora. I just ordered it.
Oh my god. So $35 at Sephora?
I think it was. I can look it up.
That's like one of those things that like it's payday and you need to treat yourself. And I feel like that's just under the threshold of like you can do that. You know?
I know. And the thing about it is I was like, oh great, I'm gonna get this and it's gonna take like several weeks to start working. It actually started working after 5 days. My eyelashes were longer, so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I might have to add that to my cart.
Yeah.
And what about something you're not loving?
So something I am not loving is this Tarte Shape Tape Contour Concealer. Do you have it?
I do, and
Do you
that's
like it?
well, it's interesting. That is one of the most popular concealers.
That's why I bought it.
Oh my god, and you don't like it?
Well, okay, I think the problem might be I may have got the wrong color for my skin tone because I just hate it. It definitely looks too light.
Yeah.
And so maybe if I got a darker version, it would be better, but I still kind of feel like it looks a little cakey.
Oh.
I don't know if you ever get that problem, but it had amazing reviews online, but for some reason I'm just not loving it.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so for your concealer, you don't like something that brightens necessarily.
I like a little bit of brightening, especially like if I'm putting it under my eyes for sure, but not too much because I don't. For work, most of the time I'm going for more of a natural look. I mean, even when I'm not at work, unless I'm going out for a special occasion, I like to try to look more natural.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. You don't want to look like full glam for your 8 a.m. Monday morning meeting.
No, I do not. And you know what? Like, it's not all glamorous all the time.
Right,
so.
That's true. When you're you don't want to be like full glam sitting at your desk, like doing emails. What do you mean?
Well, and you know what's the worst is if you go full glam for a day at work and like literally nothing happens. Like you don't go anywhere. You don't
I totally know what you mean. Yeah. And it's like you wasted your look and like no one can appreciate it.
I know.
I totally know what you mean. Well, okay, so here's what is interesting. So something I do when my concealer is too light, because I struggle with that all the time. Like I'm usually ordering it online and I don't know what I'm guessing at best, you know? But something I've tried, if something is like looking a little bright, is I'll actually try setting it. And sometimes that helps to like I'll or not set, I guess it would be I'll bake like my concealer. Yeah. And sometimes that helps to like fuse it into the skin.
Can you explain a little more about baking though? Because I have never done it before and I see people do it on Instagram and I don't know like what exactly are you supposed to buy to do that too? Because is it just the powder that everyone uses or what is it?
So literally, and there's a bunch of different great awesome products that you can use to bake, but Laura Mercier is probably like the classic that everyone you'll probably see the most. But literally all it is it's taking like loose powder. So, you know, typically you're like we're used to like powders that are in a compact. Setting powder tends to be loose. So you'll see it in like a canister and like you can shake it out. Mm-hmm. And you have to be careful. But typically what you'll do is you'll take that loose setting powder, you'll shake a little bit out in the canister, and you'll take a wet beauty blender. You could also do this with a brush, but people usually do it with a wet beauty blender, and they'll dip it into the loose powder and then put it on your face under your eye and just let it sit there for like 1-2 minutes.
So and that causes it to be like absorbed by your skin?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And I will say, so my favorite brand actually for setting powder is not Laura Mercier. Like I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure that I get the Laura Mercier hype. But Dermablend is the setting powder that I use, and it is like bright white. So, and like I have darker skin, because I know you guys can't see what I look like necessarily, but I have a darker skin tone, and it's bright white, but it like melts the product into my skin. And then what you do is, so after a minute or two goes by, you're just literally just like sitting with it on your face, you just brush it off.
Okay.
And a firmer brush is typically better, but you literally just brush it off, and one, it helps to keep your concealer there all day, helps it not to crease, and it just helps it to kind of like blend in naturally into your skin. So that could be something to try, but sometimes like the wrong color is just the wrong color, and it happens to all of us.
That's a good idea though, and that also makes me think about potentially blending it in with like a darker concealer, and that way I don't have to throw this out.
Yeah, because that's the worst.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to ask you is when you do when you use that powder, I always see people only putting it on like maybe under their eyes and then like lower part of their cheek.
Because they contour.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So the lower part of the cheek, I feel like that's one of those things that, like, if you're feeling extra or like if you're really going somewhere, then I could see it. If it's like every day, like I will bake most days.
Yeah.
But I'll do it just under the eye. I won't do it like, on the jawline. Like,
yeah.
I'm almost never that extra. But it's funny, like, so the product that I'm loving for this week is also a concealer. And it's interesting to me that, like, concealers are important, I feel like, especially if you go to work and if you work long hours, like both of us do, like that means typically you're not getting as much sleep, and there are plenty of people who are struggling with that. Yeah. So a concealer that I am obsessing over would be Huda Beauty. Her new Overachiever Concealer. It is so good. I
sampled it at Sephora. It's amazing.
It is
when
so
my concealer
good.
runs out, I am buying
Yes.
that.
Like, talk about a concealer that melts into your skin, gives you full coverage, like dark circles, gone. And I will say it's thicker, it dries fast, like her products tend to do. But I feel like Huda gets it. Like, she gets what we want to look like and be like, and it is just worth the $30 that it costs.
And it seemed like when I sampled it, you really did not need a lot for it to go very far.
That's exactly right.
So it's going to last you a while.
That's exactly right. So yeah, just highly, highly recommend you guys, any of you who are listening, like, go get a sample at your local Sephora of this concealer. It is so good. Like, it's just, especially if you're a concealer person anyway, because I could see someone who's new to concealer being like, this is too thick. Like, what is this? So something that I am not loving right now, Lori, I just have to say, so one of my good friends is getting married in a week, and I am in the wedding, and this is the last time I will be in a wedding, because it's too much. So, like, something that I'm not loving, like, I'll never take for granted just being able to be a spectator. It's just...
Yeah, the thing is, like, I feel like when you're a bridesmaid, it's like such an honor, and like you feel special for somebody wanting you to be in their wedding, and everybody loves it. But obviously there's always this other side of it too, and so the
dress, the shoes, the hair, the makeup.
Photos,
I feel like for what it's costing me, like I should be the one getting married, And it's just kind of like, what do I get out of this?
Okay, so this goes back to Sex and the City, which we were just talking about.
Yes.
The episode where Carrie, what is it? She goes to that baby shower and her like Manolo Blahniks or whatever they were, Jimmy Choo's, get stolen. And then she's just like, what do I get? Because I'm never getting married. I'm not having kids.
Right.
Nobody's giving me a gift. I love that. So.
Literally it is like, and I love like all my girlfriends, so happy to like go and support, but it's like, I've been to weddings, I've been to baby showers, I've been to first birthdays. Like every time I leave my house, it costs me like $100. You know what I mean? And it's like, when it's my turn and all I have is a birthday, because I don't have a husband, I don't have kids, I don't have any of that. I barely get a text message like happy birthday. Yeah. So I 100%
That's what
agree.
happens when you're an adult. You love that.
You will see me throw a party for myself. There'll be like a threshold. Like if I turn 40 and none of this happens, you all are going to come to a reception that just celebrates me.
Yeah, I think you should do that. Who cares when anyone thinks? Just do it.
Well, Lori, we are here in episode 1 to talk about something that is near and dear, I think, to all of us, which is the weekend.
Oh, God, yeah, my favorite.
Right?
Every Friday is thank God it's Friday.
And you know what? I want to start with Friday, because I actually feel like Friday is such an important day of the weekend, because it's the start of it, but also like I feel like Friday kind of sets you up for the rest of the days. And for me, where I struggle with Friday is I come in and usually like I'm exhausted. Like the weight of the week has just worn me out. But I always want to try to do one or two things, whether it's something that's productive, like something that I'm checking off a list, or something that's fun, just to feel like I'm taking advantage of like the opportunity that is Friday.
Yeah, because I think it's really easy to be like, okay, it's Friday, I'm so tired, I'm just going to sit at home and watch TV and then go to bed. But you kind of have to take advantage of it, because it is the start of the weekend. You're losing a portion of your weekend if you don't do that.
Yes.
And also for me, psychologically, I feel like Fridays is almost the best, only because I know that I have so much of
you
the
have
weekend.
2 more days.
Exactly. Whereas on Saturday night, it's like, oh, okay, tomorrow's Sunday, and I
Right?
hate Sunday because Monday's work day.
Let's be honest. Sunday could have its own episode because that's like a whole thing. Let's not get to Sunday yet because it's already like anxiety inducing and slightly depressing. but yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing about Friday is try to find some way to take advantage of it. Like whatever that means for you. And I will say, like, there are definitely Fridays where I will go home and I will just like pass out and fall asleep because I'm tired.
Yeah,
I barely made it home. And I just like, you know, it's like I get home and I like get in my bed. But I usually wake up later that night being like, oh, like I missed this day. And I feel like Friday is just such a good opportunity because to your point, like we have too much other days. And the thing about weekends is this is time that belongs to you. Like during the week, so much of our time belongs to our job. Mm-hmm. And it's like finally, like usually by the end of the week, you need those 2 days. And so I would just say, like, it is so important to find that thing that you can do on a Friday, whether it's, you know, if you know you have to run to Target or you know you've got to do that grocery run, which I will say one of my biggest tips that I would say to anyone is try to get your chores done during the week, like that dry cleaning run, grocery store run, even like fill up your gas tank before you get home on Friday so you're not scrambling to do it sometime during the weekend. But like anything you can do to make your weekends truly belong to yourself, do that. Is that like, do you tend to do that or how do your weekends tend to work?
I mean, yeah, there are some chores that I definitely do during the week, but then some that I'm just kind of like too exhausted to really get into. And like laundry and ironing is stuff that always tends to happen on the weekend. Yeah. But and that kind of goes into what you're saying, which is that you're giving up a part of your weekend when you spend it on that. But I do try to do other things during the week. Like I do some of my groceries during the week. I do get gas during the week if I can. You know, some of the cleaning and stuff like that. But on Fridays, I actually, a lot of the time, since I don't go out anymore as much as I used to.
You old lady.
I know, right?
I'm the same.
I do like going to the gym on Friday nights because, I mean, I work out several times a week, but like Friday nights is like, it's just relaxing because I mean, most of the time when I go to the gym, it helps to de-stress, but on Friday night, it's especially so because I'm already relaxed because I know that the next morning I don't have to go to work.
That's such a good point,
Yeah. So it's like almost like, even if I don't exercise as hard as Thursday night or Wednesday night, I feel more relaxed at the end of it, if that makes more sense.
That is such a good, like, I love that. And I remember, I don't do this anymore, but there used to be a time where my Friday happy hour would actually be a spin class. Like, I used to do the 5:45 to 6:45 on Fridays. And there's something about working out on a Friday that it's like, because, you know, one, you got that weekend workout in. Yeah. So, because, you know, who knows what will happen Saturday or Sunday. So if you do it Friday, and then, like, to your point, you could have like an extra long session and not feel guilty because you've got to rush home and get ready for the next day.
Yep.
I love that.
And I kind of like sometimes working out on Friday night and then having like a late dinner, like maybe going somewhere to eat or like just a late dinner at home and then like watching a show or something. Yeah. It's almost like a treat for me because I'm like, oh, I can stay up really late tonight.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
It's kind of fun. I love that. And I think that's like, you know, everyone is going to have like something different that is like how they relax and unwind from a long week. Yeah. But I love that as like a little treat, you know, to yourself. And I mean, you got to eat anyway. Something else I will tend to do on Fridays, and this is kind of more to the being productive side, which not as fun, but you know, there are ways to enjoy it. I'll come in and I'll do things like Self-Care Friday. So if I'm going to take a bath or if I'm going to do an extra long skincare routine where I throw like a mask in there or an exfoliation in there, I'll tend to do that on a Friday. The other thing I'll do sometimes is I will clean my brushes or my beauty blenders on a Friday. So they kind of have the weekend. Yeah. So like my productive things will be like things I need to do anyway, but I am not likely to do during the week just because, you know, might take me 30 minutes to an hour to clean those beauty blender. But it's important, and it makes me feel good, and it, you know, it's one of those things, like, it's like that hygiene piece that you're still taking care of yourself, and so to me, it's still relaxing. So yeah, I mean, I think the key to Friday is don't waste it away. Which, because I feel like when you're in your 20s, no problem. Like, your friends are going out, you're doing that. Yeah. But there's something that happens, I feel like, when you're 30 and, you know, your friends are starting to have families and, like, it's different. And so it's easy to, you know, there aren't as many opportunities to, like, go out and be wild. And so I think, you know, I think it's important not to get in that rut of, like, just not taking advantage of Friday, whatever that means to you.
I agree. And I think another thing might be, I don't know if you do this, but going to happy hour with coworkers. Yeah. I haven't really done that so much lately, but we have been doing that in the past. Just, like, go right after work, just for a drink or two, not super long. Right. And so you kind of have that kind of going out piece. Yeah. And then you're not exhausted because you're not staying out super late. You just go home, and I don't know. I kind of like that too. That's true.
That's a good point. Yeah, and going somewhere new, like adding into that, you know, like trying a new place. I love that. Yeah. So what about Saturdays? What does a Saturday look like for you?
I don't know. I feel like every Saturday is different. Like, I feel like my Fridays and my Sundays are very similar most of the time, but my Saturdays just change up so much. And, you know, this past year I've been going out of town a lot, so, you know, I could be out of the state. But when I'm here, a lot of the time I'll get some of my chores started on Saturday morning just to get some stuff out of the way and be productive. So, you know, we'll just throw in some laundry or, you know, clean the kitchen, clean the bathroom, stuff like that. And then typically go to the gym. And then Saturday nights, a lot of the time is just like hanging out with friends or going out, you know, going out to dinner. We like to go out to movies a lot too. So
I think movies are like the best and the easiest way to just like relax and be almost guaranteed to have a good time.
Yeah. And there's this, so we like to go to Scottsdale Fashion Square because they just opened the new Camel View theater. And I think we talked about this before. You haven't been there yet, have you?
No, but I know it's like a super fancy movie. So basically, for anyone listening, she chose like the fanciest movie theater in town, and that's where she likes to go.
But here's my thing, is like I feel like I haven't been going out as much anymore, and so for me that's like my treat, and it's actually cheaper than going out for a bunch of drinks.
That's true.
So it's totally worth it. Like, I'm telling you, the seats are so comfortable. They recline. You get to pick your seat ahead of time. And then they also have a bar there, and then the bar lets you bring your drinks into the movie theater. And so my husband loves to like get a beer and bring it with him in there. So I just think that's awesome. And I have never bought food there, but I've seen other people obviously getting stuff, and they have way more stuff than other movie theaters. Like they've got, I think, an espresso machine. They make coffee, and they have like these fancy desserts. Nice. But then they also have, you know, popcorn and soda. The
basics.
Stuff. Yeah. The basics. So we'll have to go there together.
That does sound amazing.
It's like a treat.
It honestly is. I really think going to the movies. And you know what's funny? So there are some either Saturday or Sunday mornings where I will get up and I will go to the movies, even by myself. And I will go see like the 9 a.m. whatever movie, like kind of, you know, before it starts to get busier, before people are up, but just to like get that in and just kind of like start things on the right foot. So I love the movies too. My Saturday, I actually consistently for the last few months, and it's weird, I am not a morning person, like whatsoever. I hate morning. I want to be a morning person, but I'm not one. Like, it's in my genes that I'm not a morning person. But on Saturday morning, I will pop up at like 6 a.m., go downstairs, and I'll either turn on like some jazz music, or I will turn on like the fireplace on Netflix just to like create a mood.
Yeah.
I'll put a candle on and I will read. So I'm a huge reader. But I find that I don't get to read, and fiction, by the way. Like I'm not going to be like, oh, I read nonfiction. I read like workbooks to make me better. No, I read like the trashiest, like junior. What is it? like young adult novels, like Harry Potter, anything that's like just fun. So I love to read. And so Saturday morning, like before, while everything is still like still and quiet, I will get up, open the windows, open the curtains, just create a mood and sit and read for like 2 hours. So I will start my Saturday that way. Ideally, part of my Friday, I would have like done like the basic cleaning, at least like picking up. So that way Saturday, it kind of like enhances the mood. So like things are like in their place and I can just really kind of feel like I can relax. And I would say for me, Saturday is my day that's like, this is my full day that belongs to me. Like it's my time, not thinking about the week ahead. I'm not doing anything to prepare for it. I might do a little bit of like an errand, but usually on Saturday, it's fully just what do I feel like doing? And if it's nothing, it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to have a day where you don't do anything.
I just need that one day.
Yeah. I know. But I mean, yeah, sometimes you just need that, honestly.
Yeah.
And, like,
so
sometimes I look forward to the weekend where I know I'm not really going to see anybody. I'm not really going to go anywhere. I don't have to work this weekend and I'm just going to just relax. I mean, I still have the chores and stuff, but
I mean, you can find ways, like those things that you have to do, because it's just realistic that there may be things on the weekend you have to do that are not the most fun. But like even then, it's just making the best of it and like enjoying your time. 'Cause it's like you were saying, putting on a show or putting on music or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think Saturdays, like that's just your day to like do you, whatever that means on that day. But just, make the most of it. And that doesn't have to mean like going out, spending money, but just, do something that's for yourself.
I agree. So like on the weekends, like on Fridays and Saturdays, do you eat out or do you cook at home?
Ooh. You know what? So that's such an interesting question because I feel like lately it's been a lot of eating out because it's like you're just so tired that it's like, and it's not even, I'm not even going somewhere. It's like, what can I order in? And there, honestly, I mean, there are really good restaurants that you can like have delivered right to your door. So I definitely take advantage of that.
Do you do like DoorDash or anything like that?
I do Grubhub a lot. A lot. But yeah, it's so true. Like I definitely, there was a time when I used to love to come in on Friday and cook something. Like that was my day to cook like a more elaborate meal. Lately though, no, it's been a lot of like order out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me is like, I actually do like to cook a lot, especially because my husband like loves home cooked food. So, but it's just that when it's on a weekday a lot of the time or like on a Friday night, the thought of it is so daunting because it's just like you're so tired and then you don't even want to do it. So yeah, I mean like Friday night we normally end up getting something from somewhere or just making like a really quick meal. So sorry, I don't know if you guys heard that, but my upstairs neighbors are like apparently I don't know what they're doing. There's like a herd of elephants up there. This happens all the time though. So yeah, it sounded like they just dropped like a 50-pound weight.
I mean, it's like I'm kind of curious to know what's happening up there.
I don't think we want to know. No, let me tell you. One time it was super, super, super loud, and we went up there, and me and my husband, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, we had a pizza in the oven and it was burning, so we were running around." And I was like, "I am sorry, but that noise had nothing to do with you running around getting a burning pizza out of your oven."
That doesn't even make sense.
It didn't make any sense. And I was like, by the way, you're super loud like every day. So unless you're burning pizzas every day, like no.
Oh my god. That's so good. I mean, it's like, why do they build these places without like, come on, spend the extra.
Well, you know what? I actually don't even blame the apartment for that. In this case, the last place I lived in, the floors were so thin, but they're not that thin here. I think it's just the people upstairs are like incredibly inconsiderate.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
We've all had that, you know.
Yeah.
All been there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Sunday.
Oh God. See, now I'm getting anxiety.
See, I know. Like, what is it about Sunday? And here's what kills me is like so many people are like #Sunday Fun Day, and I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
They're drinking because they don't want to think about Monday.
Maybe that's what we need to start doing. Like
wasted.
that's why you start your Sunday with brunch and mimosas, I guess. But like, when I want to do Sunday Fun Day, no.
Well, and also if you start off your Sunday like that, which I have done, like getting mimosas and stuff. And don't get me wrong, that's super fun. But if it's like if you're partying hard Sunday morning, and then by the time you get to Sunday afternoon, it might even be like even more depressing, because then you're like coming down from your buzz or whatever, and then you're really realizing, oh my God, it's almost Monday.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, then it really hits you.
And you're doing this calculation in your head of like, how much longer can I avoid getting ready for next week before I have to start getting ready for next week, you know, and not like be up until 1 o'clock in the morning. So now I'm screwed for next week. Sundays are brutal.
They really are.
Sundays are brutal. Like, I want to be like, oh, here's what I think you should do, or here's what works for me. I'm still figuring Sunday out.
Yeah. Is there anything you do to help with the anxiety of Monday, or like to help relax or make it better?
No. It's
just all bad.
I feel like Sunday is when I like wrap myself in a blanket like a burrito and watch TV just to try to like avoid
not think about it, yeah.
You know, and because I mean if you think about it, like Sunday is a busy day. Like I almost feel like Sunday is like half weekend day and half weekday, because like, you know, if you meal prep, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you pick out your outfits for the week, that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. If you travel, maybe, you know, you're packing that bag for your Tuesday morning trip.
God, that's awful.
Like, I just feel like there's so many things. Like, a lot of us have to work a little bit on the weekends. For me, I push that to Sunday.
I do that too.
Right? And so it's just like, Sunday is like a half day.
Yeah, I mean, like, last weekend, I was working on Sunday until, I think, 11:30 p.m., and so that was super depressing. And it's like, so I got to put it off until then, but at the same time, it was looming the entire day.
Right.
I was like,
right.
I'm going to have to work later, you know? So, I don't know.
And, like, you want to be that person who's like, oh, maybe I'll pop up and get my work done and then enjoy my day. But it's like, no.
That's not going to happen.
Like, why? No. God, I mean, I wish, I don't know. Sunday is like that day that I'm still, we got to figure Sundays out.
You know, I think probably the best way, I mean, working out helps me a little bit. I mean, that always gets you in a good mood when you're done with it. Being productive with something. I mean, me and my husband, some Sundays we go hiking.
Yeah.
Which is actually like really therapeutic. Mm-hmm. And that actually helps me because I do think about work and stuff like that, and about Monday when I'm hiking, but maybe not as much, because you're kind of like struggling and you're pushing yourself, and so, and then there's all kinds of other things you can talk about on a long hike.
That's true.
And so I think that's helpful. And I mean, if you like to cook, like I like to cook, it's always fun to be able to do that on Sunday, because you have more time.
I was thinking about that for you. Yeah. Like, because you're such a good cook, and I feel like the times I've seen you on Sunday, you're like, oh, I'm making brunch, and I'm like, who are you?
So maybe we need to do that more, make brunch and have mimosas.
I mean, I'm definitely, to your point, understanding the drink on Sundays thing. Like
definitely.
that, I mean, like, suddenly that's making sense. No, and I love actually the working out too, because I think I'm one of those people that, like, I dread working out, but I know I need to do it, so I'll find a way to do it most times, not always. But it's so true. Like, after you do it, like, you can feel good, you know? And something else, so I love the idea of, like, working out, and maybe getting in, like, a longer than usual workout on a Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's also great, too, because then you're not stressing about having to run off somewhere and get your workout done super quickly. So I think that's great. And I was also thinking about trying something like ClassPass or like CrossFit.
Oh, yeah.
And doing those things on Saturdays and Sundays, and then maybe one day out of the week where I might have time after work. And I don't know if that works out well, then that could be like also another thing to look forward to.
I love that. I love that. Like kind of like finding that little routine, but like that thing that you love that you can't do during the week.
Yeah.
So something else I was thinking about, so sometimes you have a tough week ahead of you, right? Like whether maybe you've got a tough conversation you need to have, or a big meeting, or like just something that's coming up that is looming, right? And as you get closer to the end of Sunday, you're getting closer to whatever that thing is that's coming up.
And the stress keeps building.
Yes. And so something that I will do to try to like almost give myself a pep talk is I will find that show that has that like boss babe that I can watch and like get inspiration from. So for me, that show is Scandal.
Oh my
like
God.
Olivia Pope, I will be like,
Scandal.
I need to like put my hair in a bun and handle it.
I'm obsessed with Olivia Pope.
And like even still, all these years, like the show doesn't even come on anymore, but that is my go-to.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I alternate between that and maybe Gossip Girls, but like watching Olivia Pope just get it done, like that's what will kind of like rally me to like, okay, let's do this,
I mean, honestly, I totally agree. And the thing is, some of the storylines are super ridiculous, but I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's all about like the fact that she's confident. She doesn't care what other people think. She works really hard, but she still enjoys her life. And obviously, like her clothes and her purses and her shoes.
Right, there's that part too.
Everything.
There's the love story.
Yes.
And I think it's one of those things where we're talking about the weekend. We're talking about how much we love that time that's ours. But I think both of us would also say like we are committed to our professions. Like I don't want anyone listening to this to be like, oh my gosh, they hate their job. Like no. I feel like, though, we both have jobs that are fast-paced, high stress, and so, you get a little, very demanding. And so, like, you need that break.
And we both have clients, which in some ways that's kind of, I think that's what makes having the me time very important, because you're always giving yourself to somebody else.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but for me, I'm always absorbing somebody else's problems or their issue, and I'm putting that on my shoulders and taking the stress of that. And so then I really, really, really need to have those times where it's about me, and it's or fixing my problems or my issues or whatever, because if you don't do that for yourself, then you're
not going to be as productive at work.
No,
you're just really not. You're just not. And so, I think it's so important on the weekend, take that time for yourself. Whatever you need to do to get yourself back in prime form to like do battle again the next week, like that's what you got to do. But also I think it's just about like enjoying your life, Yeah,
I mean, so like you said, like we both like are committed to what we do. We enjoy it, but at the same time, if that was all you did, you wouldn't enjoy your life. I mean, it's also about caring for yourself. It's about spending time with your friends, with your family. And if you don't do those things, you're not going to be good at your job.
Yes.
You need to have that other part of your life as well.
Yes. Well, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a good first episode. Despite the loud upstairs neighbor.
If any of you are listening, thank you so much for spending some time with us. And so you guys can't see Lori, but she has this like amazing eyeshadow situation going on right now. Can we just, I was gonna say, can we end this podcast with you just telling us about like what you have on your eyes?
So I have this eyeshadow palette from Bobbi Brown. I think it's called like Nude something.
I've seen that.
My husband got it for me last Christmas.
That's a good husband.
It is a good husband.
You should keep him.
Yeah, he went all the way to Sephora to get it.
Oh my, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, it's like just the fact that he went there, like you did well. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter what you got, like you tried.
Yeah. So this is like there's one color in there that's like a grayish pink color. It's really weird. It's hard to describe, but it's like super sparkly. So it's almost like there's gray and pink sparkles in it. So I love this color. But and then of course I've got my long eyelashes from my Shiseido eyelash
I'm getting
serum.
this eyelash
You
serum.
have to get it.
Like, I need this now.
You need this in your life.
Thank goodness there's a sale at Sephora this weekend.
Oh, yes. So we can get more stuff.
There we go. I've got my item.
Yeah, we'll get more stuff, and then we'll have more feedback for you guys next time.
Yes. And please follow us on Instagram if you enjoyed this content and you want to know more about anything we talked about, any of the products that we reviewed. Please follow us on Instagram at Prime and Glow. We will be posting tons of content there. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Feel free to reach out to us. You can DM us. You can send us an email at primeandglow@gmail.com. We are looking so forward to more of these and just starting a conversation about different topics for women, modern women.
Yeah, and if you guys have any ideas about like what you want to hear or something you think is interesting, let us know, and that's something we can talk about.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.